August is a pretty busy month for gaming, and when I was looking through, I was trying to find time to play them and enjoy the small heatwave that England is bound to get. This month we have our remakes, we have our remasters, which of course one I'm really looking forward to. I wonder if you can guess which that one is. However, here are the top 10 games releasing during the summer period where we should be outside. Now, we're going to start off with one that it dropped and then everyone forgot it kind of existed, it felt like, and now we're kind of getting into the release of it. It's Mafia: The Old Country. It's a prequel set in 1900 Sicily, diving deep into the roots of the Mafia franchise. It's a narrative-driven prequel focused on a smuggler named Enzo Favara. It's getting rid of the open world and we're going for more of a tighter mission-based structure, similar to Mafia 1 and 2. The game uses Unreal Engine 5, so it looks absolutely beautiful, and it's been leaning a little bit more into the cinematic kind of, stories, the narrative branches, different conversations, and a little bit of heavier emphasis on the stealth from what I gather from looking at some of the trailers. The setting is shifting between coastal villages and mountainous regions, so if you've been to Sicily before, there should be some nice kind of throwbacks to that. But obviously, from looking at trailers, I'm expecting to see a little bit more kind of, tension, a little bit more slow burn story, as opposed to just like car chase, car crash, car explosion, shots, bullets, all that kind of stuff. Now, that releases on August the 8th on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Now, we've got Abyssus, which is a first-person roguelike, which is set in a submerged world filled with a ton of ancient ruins and some weird, like, kind of biotech creatures. It's designed for co-op, so it's obviously better with friends, but you can play single player. Now, all the maps are procedurally generated, so enemy layouts, hazards, and stuff like that will change on each run you go on, and you and your team will be using these kind of like brine-powered weapons, which have been basically handcrafted, and they've all got these weird elements, and we'll have to fight through flooded corridors and survive environmental threats like spikes and kind of acid pools. It very much reminds me of that game that I always forget. Oh my lord, I forgot the name of it. Not Flint and Steel, Rock and Stone. What is the game? Rock and Stone meme. That's why I have to type in to get it, dude. Deep Rock Galactic. That's what it reminds me of. This is what this kind of game really speaks to me as. And I think it looks really cool. The visual looks really cool. It's kind of like retro and slightly clunky. And the UI is actually quite minimal, which is kind of helping for kind of that fast-paced gameplay. Less on the screen, you can see more, and my opinion anyway. Progression is tied to what you're able to extract. So it is an extraction shooter as such, but not really PvP. So obviously dying will set us back. Now, this game drops on PC on August the 12th. No idea if it's coming out on consoles at all, but we'll see, probably based on the launch. Now, this next it's slightly a bit of an oddball. It's called Dragon Drive and is a 3v3 sports game, kind of arcade game, being made exclusively for the Switch 2. Now, it uses the new mouse key, or the mouse kind of scroll in the controller, at the top of the controller, and it kind of blends futuristic basketball with vehicle drifting. Now, each match looks fast-paced. It's got motion controls, it's got boosting, it's got obviously shooting basketball nets. It's obviously not realism focused. It's a little bit more nearer to the kind of Rocket League, but instead of obviously goals, we've got hoops and different characters as well. The game has trick systems, so you can use mechanics. There's characters have their own abilities, and you can kind of add some variation to the 3v3. It does have local multiplayer, online matches, but the free trial is running from August the 9th to the 11th, and then the full release is on August the 14th. Now, this next shooter is super, super weird. Early access game that's come out onto full release now. And it's a multiplayer shooter that has like a social deduction layer. It's called Midnight Murder Club, and it takes place in a trap-filled mansion where some players are trying to survive, and one of us is trying to quietly kill the others without them knowing. So like Deceit, if anyone's played that game before, there's tons of weapons, there's clues, there's hazards as the kind of game progresses, and you can either go super loud or you can stay hidden. The full version is going to be adding new maps, it's got private games, and there's going to be crossplay between PC and PS5. Visuals are quite stylized, quite minimal. They kind of remind me of that kind of 90s horror mixed with a little bit more kind of modern shooter mechanics, I guess. But that's leaving early access on August the 14th, and it supports up to 12 player lobbies. Now, this next game looks absolutely artistically beautiful. It's called Bendy Lone Wolf. and it kind of moves, you know, the Bendy franchise from being first person to kind of like a top-down roguelike. It's not a platformer or a puzzle game. It's more combat focused. There's kind of short runs, and the world is like ink soaked. It looks really sick. I do love the kind of art that the Bendy universe kind of brings. Now, each run has different enemies, different layouts, and there's an upgrade system that will allow us to keep playing, kind of bring that replayability up. But the visual style looks very much 1930s animation aesthetic. But the gameplay obviously looks a little bit more kind of reaction-based, I guess. There's tons of melee weapons. You get ranged ink attacks, and we need to dodge mechanics built around tight control timing. There's no voice acting or any narrative really, but there is lore that's scattered around that we can pick up and find out. Now, that game comes out on August the 15th on PC, both consoles, and the Nintendo Switch. This standalone prequel that we've got coming up next, which I'm really excited for, it was going to be a DLC, but then they ended up making it into a full game. It focuses on Kyle Crane, who's infected and mutating. It is, of course, dying like the beast. Now, instead of losing control after we were, you know, infected and mutated, we had these new abilities. So we have enhanced mobility, we have extra strength, and what the game calls beast mode, which is obviously like the beast is the name of the game. We're not invincible. We can punch through zombies. We can sprint across rooftops with a little bit more power. So the parkour should be really fun. The setting is yet again another crumbling city, but the layout is designed to push vertical movement. So the parkour, as I said, should feel really nice. Combat's been rebalanced a slight bit. You feel a little bit more bulky, a little bit more heavier, especially in the kind of melee mechanics. And the enemy AI has apparently been updated to react a little bit more smartly. That sounds really stupid. The enemy's a little bit more smarter, I guess, when it comes to the player interacting with the world around them and kind of the noise and stuff like that. That releases on August 22nd on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Pizza Bandit is a third-person action shooter, launching into early access. The core idea, we're basically an ex-mercenary who's making pizzas in a kind of post-apocalyptic world that's just been invaded by aliens. We'll be shooting aliens, we'll be upgrading our gear, our kitchen, and it's built around short kind of replayable burst missions with some kind of RPG mechanics. We can unlock weapons, we can unlock, you know, things like pizza cutter, boomerangs, but the game does support single player and it has online as well, online co-op. The humor looks to be the kind of main part, but the game actually does look quite good. I'm very much excited for this. I like all these weird games we're getting at the minute. That launches only on PC on August the 25th. So let's hope that the launch is so good that they kind of port it and make it for consoles. Guys, it's time to talk about it, dude. The best game dropping this month is a remake. It's the full remake of the original Gears of War. Been built in Unreal Engine 5. It's got the entire campaign, co-op. It's got multiplayer and horde mode. And it's all been updated with modern visuals and performance options. So we have 120 FPS now. We have 4K. The mechanics haven't been like heavily touched on by the looks of it. It's still if you never played it, it's a cover-based shooter. You have your active reloads to kind of, shoot quicker. And the firefights are just out of this world. But the story in itself is just one of the best to kind of ever do it. I'm really, really looking forward to this. And I'm hoping that the multiplayer is as good as I remember it, but I probably will be awful at it. Now, this supports cross-play and cross-progression. So that should be quite exciting. It's dropping on August the 26th. On Xbox, PC, and PlayStation 5. It's also coming to the Game Pass on day one as well, which of course it's going to be. Helldivers 2 is also arriving on the same date on Xbox Series X. Obviously, it launched earlier this year for PS5 and PC, and it stole the show. Was it earlier this year? Was it last year? Was it this year? I don't know. But this Xbox version has all the patches, all the content and stuff like that. So we're kind of playing catch up here. Obviously, it's a co-op game. 4-player squads take on missions across bug-infested planets using loadouts and airstrikes and supply drops. But the cool thing is friendly fire is always on, and that makes for some hilarious clips. I think this game will kind of go under the radar because everyone's played it on PS5, PC, and Xbox players will be playing that. And I don't know if we're going to get like a massive burst for it. So we'll see. I don't quite know. But obviously, the game is a persistent galactic war. So it's very, very fun to jump into. And it's going to be cross-play from the minute it goes live on Xbox. And of course, it will be on the Game Pass too. Lastly, we have the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. It's got the same story, it's got the same voice acting, but it basically rebuilds, I guess, on every other feature. It looks so good. The jungle atmosphere looks insane. Now, it is a third person over the shoulder. It's got better stealth mechanics, lighting, and survival mechanics. And the camo, the stamina, the healing systems are still there, which what's made the game, super, super unique, I guess. But there have been a little bit more. I want to say there's just been a few things that have been thrown into the mix where it needs to be, if the game was to release now, it wouldn't be as good if it was to be released. It was released, 2003, I think it was, or 2003. There's been some stuff that's been reworked to kind of make it sound a little bit more modernized, which is never a bad thing. There's also a new multiplayer side, secondary mode called Fox Hunt, but we don't kind of know what that entails just yet. That's launching on August the 28th on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. We've got a pretty busy month. I won't lie. I'm looking at this list. I would probably play pretty much all of these games. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm very, very much excited for it. So out of all of these games, let me know in the comments what you're looking for, and if I've missed anything that you think deserves to be in the top 10 games releasing. But anyway, guys, until the next video, see you later.